Welcome to the Jones Review.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Jones Review here. This is B. Jones coming at you in the latest entertainment news. Today's guest, we have Nicholas Munoz.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's great to have you, Nick.
Oh, it's great to be on here.
Yeah, I'm thankful to have you on the show and can't wait to provide a lot of content today because we have so much to cover since I wasn't on last week. So there's so much that has happened. We got DC fandom, and it had so much content. You had the brand new Dune movie, which was beautiful, of course, and we had Squid Game, the most phenomenal show trending, and it's still trending
for a long time.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It is everywhere.
Literally, you see costumes, you see the sugar cane or something. Or
just wait till Halloween.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm going to a Halloween one tonight. I'll probably see a few, but I haven't watched Squid Game yet, so I wouldn't understand.
Oh man,
I don't have Netflix. I don't have the time. I know. Everyone keeps telling me Scotty, you gotta watch it.
You gotta watch it, Scotty.
I'm like, I don't know.
And by the way, this is Scotty, my producer, right here. So.
Thanks for having me here. It's good to do this as always.
Oh, appreciate it.
Per usual.
Yeah. Also, the views and opinions of the Jones Review do not reflect the views and opinions of the WWSU Radio, Wright State University, nor their entities. But anyways, let's start off with DC fandom. So, Nick, what are your thoughts on the content that they provided for DC fandom?
I thought it was pretty good. The problem there, or the challenges that DC faces, is they have to really kind of come out of their own shell now. A lot of people compare them to the Marvel universe, and so I think this might be the actual step they need to be hey, we're different. We're not alongside them, because I feel like the last, I don't know, six years or so, they've kind of just been in trying to do what Marvel does, not doing a good job at it,
right?
And so now that it seems like they're kind of going in their own direction now, so it's gonna be exciting. Shazam, the first Shazam movie was really good.
I agree.
So Black Adam, it's one of those things where I'm hoping it's good. It could go really bad though.
Yeah.
Then you have the new games coming out. Well, you had the Suicide Squad.
Kills the Justice League.
Yeah, Kills Justice League. Yeah, that looked really good. But once again, it's one of those things look at the last Marvel game that came out. It was not very good.
What was it?
Avengers.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Huge
disappointment.
Yeah, I played it for an hour and a half, and I was like, all right, return to Steam. It was not good at all. Yeah, so so it's one of those things. I think now that game has kind of set a precedence, right? So this is the time to shine, because now everybody goes, oh, it's just going to be like that game. So really, truly, all you have to do is be an average game.
Right.
And people are like, all right, this is pretty good, So we'll see. And then obviously, me, the Batman trailer.
Oh, bro, I know that you're all over that.
Oh man,
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah. I think we had a discussion. I still think Batman's the best superhero out.
Agree to disagree. I don't know about Batman, man. I used to like him, but I'm tired of Batman and Gotham. I mean, he's a great superhero, but it's just the same story to me.
Yeah, but because he's imperfect. That's what makes him perfect, right? I get tired of all the clean cut perfect superheroes.
Wow.
It gets boring to me. What's the difference between Captain America and Iron Man? The same thing. One's just got more money, but all super strength and bulletproof and super fast, and they want to save the world. And Batman doesn't really care about the world. And actually, I don't even think truly he really cares about Gotham, in my opinion. He's more I hate the criminals, right? And so because of his anger towards criminals, because the criminals are what messed his whole life up.
Yeah, it took his parents away.
He took his parents away, and you especially imagine growing up as a rich kid, and then all that just gets taken from you, and now you're being raised by a butler, and then so that's why he put himself in that situation. He's getting raised by ninjas, and now he's just angry. Now he wants to take that out on villains, and he's not a nice person. We had to talk about this. That's why Ben Affleck was my favorite Bruce Wayne because, he's not a party boy. He doesn't go out and throw millions of dollars. In Christian Bale's movies, it's the first time you've ever seen Bruce Wayne do anything like that. Because he doesn't do that. He's a recluse. He doesn't like people. He doesn't like the being in the public eye. He doesn't like being flashy. He's all about, I want to find these criminals. I want to stop them, and it doesn't matter how I do it. And so he does the detective work, and that's why I really like Ben Affleck. I know a lot of people didn't like him. I think it was more or less the movies he was in people didn't like.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to seeing Robert Pattinson because it looks to me like his Bruce Wayne, not flashy.
Yeah. He doesn't want to go to parties. No. He doesn't want to talk to people.
Yeah. I love that. There's a line in the trailer where he says, "I don't care what happens to me."
Mm-hmm.
That's perfect because that's Batman. Batman's not like, "Oh, this is dangerous." Or this is going to ruin
I'm scared.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care what happens to me, because his life is already messed up. It's like what he does to him, money doesn't mean anything, right?
Right.
So what can you scare somebody to lose that has nothing to lose, right? So, I like that. I like his Batman, very angry, I'm going to make people pay. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Bailey, you're getting a phone call, bud.
Oh, really? Already?
Yeah. All right, welcome to the Jones Review.
Hey, this is Ramon calling.
Ramon.
What's up, Ramon?
Ramon, hey, I have to disagree with Nick on his Batman. Look, Batman is a playboy. He's a socialite. Yeah, he's reclusive, but he still likes to be out there. He ain't taking no trips to Hawaii or the Cayman Islands or anything like that. But Batman is still, look, he's a male. He likes to be a playboy. Okay?
Oh my.
So but the other things you said about Batman, look, I'm a Batman. I love Batman. Batman is my life. I love Batman. Him being imperfect, that's what makes him appealing to people like you and I.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has his flaws, he has anger issues, but he's real. Okay? And I just wanted to get in there and say that. And yeah, he ain't Captain America is so damn perfect. You put Captain America next to Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Captain America's too perfect.
Yep.
Okay. He has no imperfections.
Right.
So, hey, I agree with you, Nick, but Bruce is a playboy. He's a playboy. Come on now. He's a playboy.
The problem with that's more of a modern view, though. If you look at the older Bruce Waynes, he was very detective. And so even if you add the playboy sense onto it, Christian Bale was not a detective at all. He was just a playboy until something went wrong, and then he was switching to Batman mode. And there was no detective work being done, which is why I think I liked Ben Affleck's more, because he would be at a party and would be the entrepreneur, the $1 million or $1 billion guy, but he was there doing research. There was a reason he was there. He was there to research. He was there to figure out what was going on, to see these people, to figure out who was dirty, who was corrupt, not just there to have fun. There was always a reason behind that, where I felt like they failed to capture that with Christian Bale.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you right now, I couldn't stand Christian Bale. Could not stand Christian Bale. Didn't like him. I thought he was boring. I thought he was boring.
Yep.
But I, unfortunately, everybody talks their trash about Ben Affleck. I have to agree with you on that one too. I do like Ben Affleck as Batman. I hate his voice though, but I like him as Batman.
Without a doubt. I think what really caught me to Ben Affleck as Batman was Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yes.
Because it really, truly showed, like, he's Batman. Like,
yes.
He's useful. Like, he has, he's a detective. He's a, detective. So
My number one question is, how do you think Robert Patterson is going to do? Because that's like one out of left field. I would have never in a million years guessed Robert Patterson as Batman.
So when I first heard that, I was really upset because I was hoping that Ben Affleck would get his own movie, and then they said that he wasn't going to, and they put Robert Pattinson in, and I was talking so much trash on social media. I posted the pink sparkly Lego Batman guy on Facebook and was like, this is going to be him as Batman. I did not like him at all. And then before I saw any of the trailers, I started watching other movies that he was in. And even though I was like, well, okay, that was a good movie, but I still don't like him, right? I was being resistant because he got that Batman role. And so I saw like Lighthouse, one of my favorite movies in a long time, Tenet.
oh, that was really good.
It was a really good movie, and he did a great job in that. So I started going, okay, all right, I'll at least give him a shot, right? But I still thought he would have been a Batman Begins or Batman. No, not Batman Begins. Batman Forever. Is that what?
Batman Forever.
Yeah, or Beyond. Batman Beyond. That's
Oh
what it
yeah.
was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Batman Beyond. You know, he's a younger guy. And then I saw the movie The King, which I don't know if you guys have seen that on Netflix.
I have not.
So he plays the French prince that is taking on the English king, and he's very arrogant, and he's not a nice person. So I was like, all right, this is a little bit darker. He's not a very good. I was like, okay. And then I saw the Batman teaser trailer, and after that, I was like, all right, I'm going to give him a fair shake, you know. And I think after the last trailer, I think that he's going to do a really, really good Batman.
Oh yeah, the second trailer definitely.
Yeah,
caught
he'll
me.
be a really good Batman. Now, here's the question: will he be a good Bruce Wayne? That's the real question here, because those are not the same people. You know, Bruce Wayne and Batman, they're not the same people. They're two different faces. You know, so I think he'll be a good Batman. I think we've actually just witnessed that in the trailer. If he just does everything he does in the trailer, he'll be a good Batman. But well, how will he be as a Bruce Wayne? Will he be a detective? Will he be emo? Because I know a lot of people have said that. I can see,
Emo?
you know, yeah. If you
He
look at
does
him,
look emo.
he walks
He does,
around.
eh?
Oh yeah, he walks around a couple of the scenes. He's just got like the black, and I'm sure it's from him taking his mask off. He's got a
Yeah.
black makeup around and his hair is like long and black, and it's kind of messy. And he's
Okay.
talking to people, and it's like, you know, if that's how his Bruce Wayne is, I'm not interested.
No, say that kind of. I don't watch too much Batman, but that doesn't really sound
No.
that.
So
cool.
I am a little skeptical when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But in the trailers they didn't really show him as Bruce Wayne much. There's one clip where, like I said, there are a couple clips where he's got the makeup, and then one clip where he's in a suit out in the streets, and that's really about it. So it'll be interesting. You know, be interesting to see if they do much with him as Bruce Wayne. Period. But I think that'll be what kind of like makes or breaks the title for me.
Right.
So
I don't know. I heard. I think it was like in the DC fandom they were talking about how this movie's mainly about Bruce Wayne being Batman majority of the time.
Okay,
Instead
yeah.
of Bruce Wayne.
they said they used year one Batman.
Yeah.
There's a lot of which is good because that's an angry Batman. That's a good.
All right, cool. I like an angry Batman.
Yes.
Hey, Bailey, make sure you tell your father I said hi.
I will.
All right. All right.
I'll
Thank
make
you.
sure he says hi to his dad.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Ramon.
Alrighty.
But
Thank
yeah,
you so much for that call.
Yeah, thank you for the call. But yeah, I think I'm really excited for this new Batman film because it really shows like who Batman really is as a
Yes.
character and how gritty he can be.
Mhm.
And you know, of course, they're gonna do like a hallway fight scene. And he's
Mhm.
I liked how like he's actually bulletproof, like
Yes.
with the Kevlar and everything. Like I really thought that showed Batman.
I mean, that was cool. I'm a little
Yeah.
annoyed that like the bad guys never shoot him in the face. You know what I mean? Like that's always a thing. Like it's kind of weird, but you know, aside from that, I do like that. I like I'm hoping that like he gets hurt in this movie because that was actually I think my favorite part about the second Christopher Nolan movie was that part where he's down in the basement and he takes his shirt off and he's all bruised up and you know that's good because in Batman Begins he never got hurt really so I want to see him. He's new, he's a trained fighter but he's new at this and I like that one scene in the trailer when they're all fighting and he turns around, the guy shoots him in the arm and it looks like it looks like that hurts. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping this is a like kind of very gritty and very aggressive, angry Batman. That'll be cool. And if they spend more time as Batman than Bruce Wayne, that'll be really cool.
Without a doubt. I'm really excited for that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I did get hooked onto the Black Adam movie because it does look sweet so far.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And it's funny because it has the opposite effect, right? I thought Shazam looked stupid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I watched the movie and I'm like, this is great. You know, so I went in. So I'm hoping it doesn't flip on me because Black Adam looks great.
But it might not be a good movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like maybe people's opinion of a movie is based off their first impression, you know, because if you go into it and you're like, this looks like it's going to be okay, and it ends up being above average, you're like, man, that's way better than I thought it was going to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if you think a movie's going to be great and it ends up being above average, it's not as good as you thought it was going to be.
Right.
So it'll be interesting. But yeah, Black Adam did look really good.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I heard that they're going to introduce the Justice Society too.
from what? From the like a new?
Well, it's kind of like a mixed team in a way because
Okay.
I'm not sure what timeline they're doing this and if it's connected to the DCEU or whatever they're
Okay.
trying to do with that.
I would like to
but
see that just end with Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I hope
Like,
so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
I
a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
If they want to make some Justice League movies, that'd be good, but make them one-off movies.
Make them worth your while. Like,
Yeah,
not just like trying to make a trilogy out of it and trying to tell every detail, show every scene blurry, and
Right.
Zack Snyder is an okay director. He's
Mhm.
not all that to me. I mean, I like his cinematography and the way he shoots certain things at a certain angles, but you know, that's about it.
I almost feel like his movies, because they just try to cram so much in such a little time. I almost feel like his movies would be better as like a series or a show.
Yeah.
So that was, I think, the biggest problem with Batman versus Superman. Just all that stuff they try to cram in a
Mhm.
very short period of time.
There's so many comic book storylines that they just rushed.
Right.
It was not time for that.
Right. And as much as I liked Zack Snyder's Justice League, it was really good. It did suffer from the same thing of like too much, because it's like they were kind of what I was going back to earlier. It's like they were trying to keep on the level of Marvel, but Marvel started their in-sync universe a long time ago, and then DC was like, "Oh, we got to do the same thing and kind of catch up." And that was not a good choice, you know. So where Marvel had all these standalone movies that they ended up, there was like, and you've noticed like go way back in the day, there was little Easter eggs in them, right? You know, like the very first Iron Man had Captain America's shield sitting on his table and things like that. DC hadn't done that yet. So instead of like going, hey, you know what, that's a good idea, and then just have a Flash movie and a Green Lantern. Well, Green Lantern movie was horrible, but you know what I mean? Like doing standalone movies, and then eventually the Justice League comes around. I felt like they just try to shove it all at once, and the payout was not worth it. So.
And on top of that Batman subject, what do you think of Michael Keaton returning as Batman in the Flash movie?
I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I know. So I liked this movie back then, but it had a very 90s movie vibe. You know, so like when you watch that movie, I watched it as a kid. You know, like, oh, this is great, but it's kind of like the old RoboCop. You know, that was a great movie.
I
as a
love
kid,
RoboCop.
But if that old RoboCop came out today, you'd be like, this is stupid. You know, like it doesn't make any sense. Like it's not a very good movie. I still think the same thing in the Michael Keaton Batman. Like it was really good for its time. But like if that movie came out today, you'd be like, this is corny, and it's not. So it'd be interesting. I'm interested. I did like his Batman though, and I really don't have too much bad to say about that Batman. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that movie, and then they're gonna introduce more of the multiverse in that movie, in the Flash movie. And of course, if you've seen the teaser trailer, there's like another Flash, but I think they're teasing like Savitar or something.
Yeah.
In it, but like I don't know, I feel like Reverse Flash should be in that movie.
Yeah.
Because if they're doing a Flashpoint movie, you can't do it without Reverse Flash. You know.
Hopefully.
I really hope they kind of like turn the tides and like add Reverse Flash or like be like little plot twist or something. He was
Mhm.
there the whole time. Like that would have been cool. But
Yeah.
I love Flashpoint. That's
Yeah.
a great.
See, I don't like Flash. I think Flash is just boring to me. Like, I don't mean to like simplify it, but it's a guy that runs fast.
Mhm.
Yeah,
it's just simple. Like it's just like
it just I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. A guy that runs fast, like okay, it's just, I don't know. Be like a guy that could just fly, like,
Superman.
but he can do other stuff though. I don't really like Superman that much either. Another boring superhero. But imagine if you had a superhero that could just fly.
Yeah, that's boring.
Sounds right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how I look at Flash. He can just run.
Mhm.
I'm sure. Yeah, he can run really fast, but that's all he does is run. I know that you can get in there, and they always do exaggerate it to make it seem like it does more. But I find his character to be horrendously boring. So we'll see. We'll see how that is. Because like I didn't like the Flash show.
Yeah. I mean, it's the CW because they like to make their shows cheesy. Like it's really good in the beginning, then like when it gets to season 3, it starts to be cheesy and lazy
Okay.
with the writing, and it just becomes corny, and it just ruins the whole theme of the show. I think they did that with Arrow too. I think that's
Yeah, I did not. We were just talking about that. I do not like Green Arrow either. So it'll be interesting. I don't know.
But yeah, they also showcased Shazam: Fury of the Gods, the second movie,
Mhm.
and that looks pretty promising.
Yep.
And then I'm really intrigued with their video games that they have with Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League and then Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights, I think
Yeah.
looks really good.
Yeah, I love the Court of Owls
Mhm.
as like a Batman villain. I think they're better than Joker. I mean, even though it's like a society, organization in a way, or secret cult and everything, but I don't know, it was like a major twist to like this was a villain organization that Batman never knew about, and they just came out of nowhere,
Mhm.
and they were in Gotham the whole entire time. I just think that's very interesting, and they challenge Batman to like a point of insanity to where he just becomes crazy.
Mhm.
So I'm very excited for Gotham Knights.
Yes.
That's gonna be cool. And I heard they confirmed Penguin's in it, and then Anarchy, and then Mr. Freeze is in it too.
Oh, that'll be interesting. Okay. I didn't know what they confirmed in that game or not. I just I saw the trailer, and it's one of those things where that's the problem with video games, right? Versus like movies.
Mhm.
The advantage to movies, when you see a trailer, it might be taken out of context, but what's in the trailer is in the movie, right?
Right.
So that's not always the case with a game. They might come out with a trailer and you're like, man, that looks amazing.
But it's not exactly how it looks.
Talking to you, Cyberpunk.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
it's, and so that's, you get those trailers and you're like, oh man, you can do all this kinds of stuff. And then you play the game and you're like, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
That was in that trailer. The characters are boring,
Like a 2008 game.
Right,
It was
yeah.
like in pre-development.
Right. And so I'm always, I game a decent amount, but I generally don't watch a lot of trailers. I don't even, I'll watch when it releases, I'll watch like the release trailer that comes out. And then I might watch a reviewer or two, but I generally just kind of pick up what I think will be good. If it's not good, I return it. And if it is good, even if it's just like mediocre, I'll play it through and then give my honest opinion of things. But
You like to be surprised.
I do, yes, and so that's also another big thing. When I was a kid, like real young, I would always read up on all these. Read everything you do, and then you play the game, and you're like, "There's nothing new there, right?" So I stopped doing that, and then as we got forward in time, now they do these huge trailers, and a lot of times these trailers have nothing to do, and you'll even see in the bottom of the screen like this contains no gameplay.
Yeah, this is just a cinematic trailer.
It's like, well, I don't care about that unless you plan on making a movie to go along with it. I really don't care. It's like take the Wolverine trailer or whatever. They could have just easily been like, yeah, we're now in the making of a Wolverine game. I've been like, sweet for that trailer. I mean, the trailer itself does nothing because the trailer is not going to be in the game.
Right.
I trust the developers because they're the ones that made the Spider-Man games,
Which are awesome.
which are great.
And I'm excited for the second one, the
Yes.
sequel. They're
Yes.
gonna have Venom, like.
Yep. And then and because did you play the Miles Morales?
Oh yeah,
Oh, so good.
it was awesome.
Right, so now they showed them both. So I'm hoping that like it might be co-op.
I know,
One
that's
be
what I'm
Spider-Man.
thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that'd
or
be cool.
I really hope they don't cop out and do like you switch characters, but I really hope they do.
So if you playing by yourself, I hope you can do that. But I hope they give the ability to play co-op.
Yeah.
But no, so so I trust them. So all that company had to do was show the new Spider-Man trailer and then show a teaser trailer to me. Would have been like, I don't know, somebody talking in like the Wolverine symbol or something like that. I would have been just as excited. These trailers they throw out for a lot of these games, like the Suicide Squad, looks good,
but we didn't see gameplay.
Theoretically, everything we saw from that might not be in the game. Because look at all the Marvel Avengers. I'm going back to that game.
I agree.
That game had great trailers. The trailers in that game look sweet, and then you play the game, and you're like, this is boring.
Booty cheeks.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
So.
Yeah, you're good, man. What is that song?
So it's so with the gameplay trailers, I like announcements and stuff like that. But that's why I think you had asked me at one point if I watch the Game Awards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of times I don't. I look up later on, see who got what. I don't trust reviewers a lot of times.
Yeah, IGN is very inaccurate nowadays.
No.
IGN used to be dope.
Yeah, it used to be.
When I was younger, when I was like 8 to 10 years old, I would always go to IGN for like game guides and all that stuff. Anytime I think of IGN now, I'm just like, my brain just gets turned off. I'm like, nope.
Yep.
I hate IGN. I can't stand it now, unfortunately.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I don't really watch a lot of the Game Awards shows, and I don't really watch like E3 and stuff like that. I don't watch the show, and a lot of times I'll look at a list of trailers that came out. I go, okay, cool, and then if there's a game that like I know, like I'm a huge racing game guy, right? So like Forza Horizon 5, when they got announced, I was like, yes, like I love these games. So then I went and watched that trailer, right? Because I was excited for that game, whether that trailer was there or not. So I think that's the difficulty of. I could see that being a difficulty on both ends, from a developing standpoint and then from a consumer standpoint. You can't trust a video game trailer.
Never.
At all.
Never.
At all. I've seen some really good trailers, and then I played some really trash games. And then vice versa. As a developer, I could see where that would be hard to. You're going to make a trailer that makes me want to play my game, but not get blamed for having stuff in that trailer that wasn't there. And I mean, you can go way. I mean, look at, because gamers are also spoiled. Like,
without a doubt.
Oh man,
We
they're
are
the
really
worst. And I remember way back in the day, and I don't know how long ago it was or how old you were when the first Assassin's Creed came out.
I was like 7.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first Assassin's Creed came out. If you ever watched it, if you've ever seen that trailer, he shoots a guy with a crossbow in that game, in the trailer, and then it wasn't in the game. The first Assassin's Creed game was really good, but man, people tore it apart. Like you showed that you could do this and do this, and there were like 3 things in that trailer you couldn't do, and people shredded it. So I could see from a development standpoint, like, man, I gotta be careful what we put in there, but also from a consumer standpoint of like, hey, I saw a trailer, it looked like you can do all this stuff, get into the game, and you can't do any of it. So.
Well, we're coming up on our top of the hour break, and we will come back with more of the Jones Review here. So stay tuned, everyone, because we got some more awesome content to come at you.
Welcome to the Jones Review.
There we go.
Welcome back to the Jones Review, everyone. We have another guest here, Sage.
Hi everyone, it's Sage.
Yeah. So it's awesome and we also have Nicholas Munoz.
Yep. What's up?
Yeah. And then we got Scotty here, my producer.
And per usual, good to be here, my man.
Yeah. But we were talking about Assassin's Creed and how the first Assassin's Creed came out and I was like 7, and how didn't you say that in the cinematics he had a crossbow?
Yeah.
And then when he shot it, it was pretty cool. And then
I remember they got a lot of backlash because of
Yeah.
that, like you mentioned.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's yeah. So yeah, just what I was saying earlier. It's just game trailers are a tricky thing, because you have to be somewhat understanding to developers, which a lot of gamers aren't nowadays. But at the same time, a developer can't take advantage of people buying their game by advertising or putting a bunch of stuff that doesn't exist in the game. So versus a movie trailer, you watch a movie trailer, you go, man, that looks good because that is in the movie. They didn't just film a whole trailer for 6 months. That's not in the movie. So yeah, that's my opinion on that.
What do you think of the Assassin's Creed movie?
I thought it was pretty good.
Mm.
So it was good for a game movie.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. It wasn't a good movie, but it was
Yeah.
like a good game movie.
right.
Most game movies aren't that good.
No, they're
Except
not.
for Sonic.
I haven't watched Sonic.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
No, I didn't watch that
What?
one.
That was a flop for me.
Yeah, so I'm split. I didn't like it that much. My daughter loved it though, and I took her to go see it. So it was one of those like it was a good movie to see with my daughter. I would not. And if she asked me to watch it again, I'd be like, yeah, sure, but I would never watch it by myself again. So yeah.
But anyways, we there was this new movie that came out a couple days ago called Dune, and when I watched it, it was something that I can't really pronounce his name. Dennis something, I don't know, Dennis something. That's one of the directors.
Let me see if I can look him up real quick. Give me 1 second.
It was like his first. Well, the movie that I watched from his. Well, I did watch Arrival. I didn't like that, and Blade Runner 2040 something. I was really intrigued because of course we like sci-fi, cyberpunk theme, the genre of that. It just.
This is pulling up the Doom from 2005. I'm not going to bother
okay.
researching it.
But yeah, I just his direction with those movies I thought were just really boring. It just seemed like something that somebody would just really like. It was more of a thriller than a sci-fi to me. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it was a thriller, but I think they did a good job. At least this first movie did a really good job of world building.
Right.
I mean, just some of the shots and the music in that movie. The music was fantastic in the shots. And the one that sticks out in my head, and I want to go back and take a screenshot, like making my computer background, when his trainer saves him from the worm.
Oh yeah,
and they're like holding hands like on the back of that the plane, the helicopter, and they're looking down. And I was like, what a shot, right?
Mhm.
And so I feel like most of the movie was really about world building, and I really liked that.
too.
They really didn't get into like, I mean, there was no action really. It was a little bit of action at the very beginning. There was no action for, man, probably what, an hour and 45 minutes?
Yeah.
But it went by so fast because it really got you into like what was going on, like what is this planet, and it was just really cool. And I like the concept of like, if you come here, you can get stranded here. This isn't just, get into my spaceship and zip into the next planet. It's, hey, without this,
Yeah. Without the suit.
spice,
Yeah.
without the spice, you can't
Yeah.
do space travel. And so if we don't get this production up and going, we're stranded here. Like, that's cool. And one of his dad said in the movie, like, hey, we're, I don't remember his exact words, but basically they're the masters of their planet, right? And he's like, now it's time to do masters of the desert. And it was just kind of cool that they're going in there and it's like surviving on this planet. And it's not about some war that's kind of in the background until it all happens,
Right.
And I thought that was really cool. Kept me intrigued for the entire movie. Then I heard that music going at the end there and I'm like, man, it feels like it's been almost 3 hours. I bet you it's gonna end right now.
Yeah, I was
And
like, I don't want this to
yeah,
end. It's
and then
such a
she
good
said
movie.
that she said something along the line of this is only the start.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and then the screen cuts black, and I'm like, what a good ending. Like I don't want it to end. That's a sign of a good movie. Like I want to keep seeing what's going on. So
And I was just like, I can't let this movie can't end because you saw that person running on that worm. I was like, bro, he's about to do that soon, probably.
right.
Yeah, they're gonna teach him how to truly survive in the sand dunes and stuff. And, you know, it kept my interest the whole movie because I wasn't really expecting the action too much. I was expecting a great story that kept my interest, and I just liked how, you know, it had an interesting story, great characters, great acting, all star cast without a doubt. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it just the whole like the setting of it. Just I love, you see the spaceships, intergalactic wars, and you see these different clans happening, and it just it looked like kind of Star Wars in a way. It looked like Star Wars, but without the lightsabers and Luke Skywalker and the Death Star and everything. But it just
it's kind of like imagine like the Stone Ages for Star Wars, kind of.
Yeah.
You know, because like the plane or helicopter, whatever you want to call it, with like the flapping wings and stuff. Like there's just a lot of cool concepts in there. So it was such a good concept or good movie, and then I'm like, let me do some research on this. Found out that they're books, and now I'm gonna buy the books and read the books because I want to know. Because I mean, as good of a movie you can get, you lose out a lot of the information of what's in a book. So I'm gonna end up buying those and reading those. So
I don't know. Don't you think House Atreides sounds like a nice name for like just I don't know, for a clan? I don't know, it's just, that's pretty cool. Like, and then Timothy Chalamet, he was a great actor, playing as Paul. Then they had Oscar Isaac, Jason Momoa, Rebecca Ferguson. Who else? Josh Brolin. Yeah, just all-star cast. I wouldn't call this director great. I mean, he did a great job on this movie, but his other movies I'm not a huge fan of. But for my 5-star rate, like I forgot to give a 5-star rating for DC fandom. For DC fandom, my 5-star rating, I would give it I'll give it a 4 out of 5 because they had content, they provided content, and it was very fun content. And I liked how after each category it flowed well. Like in that category you had this and that. It wasn't just all over the place. I liked how it was very well organized. What would you give DC fandom?
I would give it a 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah, to me, the movie trailers stood out. But if like let's say every single game that they talked about comes out and the games are trash, then you go back and you watch it and you're like, man, this was bad.
Yeah, so bad.
So
yeah.
So it's really reliant on how things are in the future, I guess is the way to put it. But the movie trailers were really good. So I'll give it 3.5. Because there's a lot of just new concepts, new ideas, and you can kind of go either way. But I also didn't like the pacing of it either. I kind of wish that they would have grouped, maybe grouped more of the trailers up and then talked about it instead of trailer talk.
Yeah,
trailer talk.
It felt too repetitive.
It did. And
Yeah.
it just I just didn't like that kind of pacing. I kind of like how they do like E3 or whatever.
Yeah, they just show a trailer.
30 trailers, and then then they go and they talk about, hey, what's your most anticipated game, instead of talking about every single thing that comes out. Because if I'm not interested in one thing, then you got to sit there for 15 minutes while they talk about something I don't care about. So so I'll say 3.5.
3.5. Well, what do you think, Sage?
I gave
What
it a
would you-
4.
A 4?
But at the same time, it was also like what Nick said. I was comparing it to like E3 and like PAX and stuff like that. So they kind of like, I'm not gonna lie, they kind of do it better. But it doesn't mean it still wasn't enjoyable. But
Who does it better, the DC fandom or E3?
E3.
Yeah,
E3.
I agree. Yeah.
E3. Because DC started doing DC fandom like a year ago. And they're starting to get used to it. But E3 does it better because they show the trailer. Because people came there to see the new games that they're
Mhm.
gonna announce and see
Yeah.
the gameplay, and they do it. They just show it. Like, here's a trailer, world premiere, world premiere. Oh, here's a special guest, and E3. I think it was like one E3. They had Keanu Reeves just pop out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It just you're breathtaking. Like,
Yep.
I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, this
Mhm.
dude's trending. Like,
Yeah.
I was expecting Keanu Reeves to be at E3 for Cyberpunk.
Right.
And it was just like, man, what a guy.
Mhm.
Like, but yeah, I gotta say that Dune was a really good movie, and I don't know, I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5. That's how good it was for part one. That was a really good part one.
I
Like,
absolutely agree.
like part ones are usually boring, but that part one,
Now I'm kind of sad I didn't watch it last.
yeah,
night.
it was
I'll
really
have to
good.
go watch it if I got some free time this weekend. Then
Yeah, and that world building was amazing. The cinematography was beautiful. See, different type of alien. Well, they kind of did have some alien races though. Like it was like a little mouse or something,
Mhm.
and it was pretty cool. And then you had different types of clans, and it showed why they're there and
Mhm.
what their purpose is and what they do and what kind of perks they had to that clan.
Yeah, I mean, there was literally a reason
Yeah.
for everybody and everything they did in that movie.
Yeah.
It suited so well, you know.
And I love the costumes and the designs that they had for the
Mhm.
characters. It was really well done.
Mhm.
5 out of 5 for me. What would you give?
Absolutely, I'd give it a 5 out of 5. That's probably the best sci-fi movie, show, anything in that you watch in a long time.
Yeah, it's been like a good 2 to 3 years since a good sci-fi movie,
Mhm.
and that was like spot on. That was good. Sage, what would you give Dune?
My bad.
Oh, you're okay.
I would actually give it a 5 out of 5. It was really submersive. I will give it that.
Yeah.
It didn't have like as much action as I was kind of expecting,
Yeah.
but it kind of made up for it with like keeping me like focused with it. So
You know what's weird is I used to say that stuff a lot too, and then I found that I feel like the more action movies have, in reality, it just kind of takes away from the story.
The less
So,
value.
right? So as long as the story's pushing forward, and then there is action in it,
Mhm.
but that is like the climax, then that's really good. I just don't like it when movies are like, there's no action, and then they're just kind of dragging their feet. They're going nowhere, and it's like, well, at that point, that movie felt like it took forever. Where Dune, that's a long movie. It's like almost 2 hours and 40 minutes or something like that, and it went by like in an instant, and because you're always wondering like, what are these worms? And it's not like they didn't even take that long to get to the worms,
Right.
but they were talking about the worms. You're like, my interest is piqued. Then they show the worm, and then like they show like the worm moving on the ground. I really did not think you were going to see the worm.
Yeah. I really think. Yeah, they're just
I
gonna
thought
tease
it'd be
it.
like an end of the movie kind of thing or whatever. And then they show the worm. You're like, oh, that's insane. And then they keep pushing forward from there, and it just keeps pushing forward and forward. And I thought the pacing of the movie was perfect.
I agree.
This sounds like
No.
Tremors, or you know what I'm talking
Mhm.
about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Those-
what
those-
this sounds like to me, but like more like sci-fi, like
Yeah.
rather than
Yeah.
action, like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay, because I that just instantly popped in my head. I'm like, are they saying Doom or Dune or what? I'm
Yeah,
like,
Doom.
is this
Yeah.
Tremors? or
Doom,
what?
yeah.
Am I I'm
Doom
like,
guy.
Did they remake Tremors? I'm like so confused. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm up to pace, but that's what it made me think of was Tremors because I remember watching that as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
which is a pretty good movie by the way. I did like Tremors.
Yeah.
Doesn't it
First
have
one.
Kevin Bacon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, I don't know if I've only ever seen the first one.
I think I've seen both, but I think the first one's the one I liked.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've only ever seen the first one. I might have seen the second one. It wasn't rememberable.
Yeah.
It wasn't worth remembering.
First one was good. Second, I think they had a third. If they had a third, I didn't watch it. But the second one wasn't that good.
Right.
Without a doubt. Well, hey, if you guys haven't watched it, Dune is currently streaming on HBO Max, and it's
Worth
also
it.
definitely worth it. And if you want to go to the theaters, you can. I mean, if you want to experience that immersive theater experience, like the director said, and I guess you can go to your local theater. But yeah, you can watch it on HBO Max or your nearest theater that you can watch it at. But I would highly recommend this movie if anybody likes sci-fi or just like Timothy Chalamet or Josh Brolin or Jason Momoa or any type of that all-star cast. Oh, I forgot. It also has Zendaya in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen her since she was on the Disney Channel. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
That's the last time I remember hearing her name when she was like 16 years old.
Not even the Spider-Man
I was gonna
movies.
say, what about
Yeah.
the Spider-Man?
Yeah.
movies?
You guys, I don't watch Spider-Man.
Uh,
Yeah. I'm Bailey's
Uh,
producer for his show, but I don't know the stuff he's talking about. I'm just like, yeah, this is dope.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Hey, we did watch Venom 2, and that movie is dope. I will say that, though.
Yes,
That was
sir.
a cool movie.
I think we were talking about my issue with her role in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you agree with me.
I haven't seen
They-
the second Venom.
No. In Dune.
Oh.
In I wouldn't say it's not a problem with the movie, but they like advertised it like she had a huge role in that movie,
Yeah.
and she had like 3 lines.
Literally.
You know, and it was at the very end of the movie, and she might be an important character in part 2 or whatever parts are after that,
Mhm.
but they made her out to be like one of the main characters of this movie.
Mhm.
She's not,
Yeah.
you know. So I thought that was kind of weird.
Is that a
Misleading.
disappointment for you,
No,
like
not-
personally,
not
or
at
not?
all. I don't get starstruck very easily, so I don't really care who's in the movie. If
Yeah.
they do a good job, they do a good job. So, but I just remember they were making I'd see her all over Facebook and TikTok, and you know, they were using her almost like a front for the movie,
Yeah.
and then
Barely used the
and
one.
they barely used her at all.
Yeah, she's like a trending topic, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Basically.
I'll probably have to watch that tomorrow or something.
Oh, you
It sounds
need
really
to.
dope.
It really is. I'm excited for it. If they want to make 6 movies, do it. I mean, as long as it
Mhm.
quality wise, like. But I'm okay with the trilogy if they make a trilogy out of this.
Right. Well, I think-
Franchise.
Like I said, and don't quote me on it. I think when I looked it up last night, there were 6 books. I'm pretty sure that's what it came in the set. So my curiosity is, how many books did this movie cover? Did it cover just the first book? Did it cover several books? Did it leave a lot of information out? Because I think that's when you see really successful movies like that, like The Lord of the Rings, right, for example, is that they, you know, if you read the books, they did leave stuff out, but they really did keep really close to the books, which I think is what made them successful. It's when they get too creative with their writer, that, you know, take Game of Thrones. That's a great example, right? It was great while it was following the books, and then once they got past where the books were and started steering off in their own direction, downhill. You know, still good.
I heard everybody hated the end of Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Everybody hated it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's-
I
watched
remember.
bits and pieces.
Yeah.
I've watched a few episodes of Game of Thrones, but I never sat down and actually grinded it out.
Mhm.
But I just remember everyone was like, "Oh, Aaron Rodgers is gonna be like one of the people who dies in it or something," and then like all of a sudden, like it's over, and everyone I just see on Facebook is just super
It
upset.
just didn't make any sense.
Yeah, right.
And I think that's the problem is you get these script writers, and I'm not saying that they're bad, but if you're going to copy the guy or girl, their book is successful for a reason, right? So I go there to see this book in visuals, and then if you change too much of it, and it's not
Yes.
the same thing,
Yeah.
if it was that way in the book form, it wouldn't have been successful, you know. So when they take too much, what do they call that? Writer creativity or something
Yeah.
like that. They do too much with that. A lot of times they will ruin stuff, and so I'm interested. That's why I want to read these books. I'm interested to see what they do with that. You know, a good example of that is like the Witcher TV show.
Oh yeah. What's your
Right.
TV show? I'm excited.
So-
for season 2.
The people that didn't like it, they obviously didn't. So the first book is written really weird because it is written in like that weird timeline, right? And so that's why a lot of people had a lot of issues with that. But they kept true to the book. So I'm excited for season 2 because I'm hoping that they keep loyal to the books like that. They can do that and get at least most of the information in there. You know, there's some stuff they leave out, but you have to save time. You know.
Right.
So, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Dune 2. If it is 6 books and they kept close to the book and they can keep that up, I'm down for it. So,
I really hope they have all-star actors that they can bring back.
man, they've already killed off like half of the actors in America.
Yeah, I'm
so-
like-
sorry, no spoil. Sorry
Yeah.
about the spoiler.
No,
Yeah.
you're good.
Seeing it.
I mean, people are gonna die
I
in
didn't
the
hear what
movie.
you said, so we're
Okay.
actually good.
yeah.
So, yeah, so it'll be interesting.
Talking
So,
about like books into movies, man. The one that always disappointed me and still disappoints me the most to this day is the Percy Jackson ones they made.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely love those books, man. And as a kid, seeing that like, oh, they're gonna make movies out of it. I'm like, well, they left this out, this out, this out. they left out one of the things that bothered me, which is a weird thing, is like how Percy's mom is obsessed with the color blue, and in the movie she's not. And I'm like, that is just such a stupid thing to leave out. I'm like, that would add to the comedy aspect of the movie, like it did for the book, and they just leave that out. And they left out like so many key moments, and like they made the second one and they did the same thing, and I'm just like, man, I don't know why people watch this.
Yeah, I actually read the second one and just like it wasn't what the book.
No,
was.
the books are amazing.
Yeah.
They are absolutely amazing. I love that first one to death. But no, the movies were atrocious in my opinion. Like that's a 2 out of 10 for me, man. I hated it.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Some movies hit it right on, nail on the head, man. But some are just completely out there.
Yeah, it's kind of like have you ever read the Dark Tower series?
I have not.
No, I haven't.
So that's I don't know if you know what that is.
I heard of. I think I watched the movie and I had to.
Yes, the movie was horrible, which is really bad because Idris Elba is like one of my favorite actors, right?
Me too.
I love him as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't say he necessarily did a bad job in that movie, but that movie is horrible. It does not follow the book at all. Like nothing. Like, okay, there's a gunslinger. That's about as accurate as it gets for the book, you know. The kid was not accurate. Even his portrayal of the gunslinger, which is more from a writing standpoint, was not accurate to it at all. I left the theater like, I want my money back because that was bad. So, yeah, so I remember that's the freshest one that sticks out in my mind of like this. I really, really hope that they don't, as long as that's what Dune did, I'm hoping that they don't do that with the sequel or part 3 or part 4 or how many ever parts they make.
Yeah.
So, but.
Yeah, without a doubt. It all depends on the creative aspect of it and the writing and how much time and effort they want to put into this, and that if they want to take their time with it, with that content, whatever content it is. But I believe that they'll do well with Dune. Hopefully, Warner Brothers doesn't involve themselves into changing it or influencing different types of different. I don't know how to. Like if they change too much of the movie or cut out so much of the movie that it's not good as it should be or not pertain to the books, then that's what I'm worried about. Because certain movie companies or movie production companies, they like to involve themselves in, of course, because it's their movie and they put the money into it.
I think they did that with Harry Potter, didn't they? Because all those movies were like 3 hours, 20 minutes, and I think it was like movie 4 or 5. It was now like 2 hours, and they changed up. They said that they didn't want them to be as long or whatever, and then they felt rushed. The whole movie felt rushed. So 2 hours and 40 minutes for Dune was perfect. I mean, it was perfect. So I'm really hoping that like part 2 doesn't come out, and you're looking at it like, oh, hour and 45 minutes, like, you know.
Ooh,
so
that's like an episode. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
If they make a spinoff off of this franchise, I would love it because I think I see like a lot of spinoffs coming off of this. Like they can do like prequels or like I don't know, like a spinoff to where it varies to like a different clan or something. And it's like from a far galaxy. That'd be pretty cool. Or what if they did like a Star Wars Dune crossover? I don't know. It wouldn't make sense, but
No.
I'm about to say, man, like I have no idea what you're saying, man.
Yeah, but yeah, I really enjoyed Dune. It was a good movie. I recommend it to people. And I also forgot, if you guys want to participate on the Jones Review, you can call this number at 937-775-5555. Or it's 4 5s, or you can participate by live chat on YouTube or the 106.9 FM radio station. But other than that, what do you guys think of Squid Game?
Man, I'm so disappointed in both of you guys.
I'm sorry, man. I don't have Netflix. Bailey tells me every single week we do the show, you got to get Netflix. You got to get Netflix. There's this on there. And I'm like, man, I just watch HBO Max and I put on South Park when I go to bed.
So believe it or not, I'm not a huge. I don't have a whole lot of time for TV, so I don't I'm not one of these guys that's like watch the entire library.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to TV shows, my girlfriend will vouch for this. She hates watching TV shows with me because if they're like 5 or 6 seasons, man, I get burnt out a lot of times after like the second or third season, you know. And so I don't. And if it's already been out for a long time, has 5 seasons, I don't want to start it. That's way too much time to commit, you know. But Squid Game's 1 season right now, and which they'll be making, no spoilers, but they'll be making a season 2.
Okay.
And it's what, nine episodes, I think.
Yeah,
9
episodes.
And they're really well, like there's one episode in there that's like a half hour, you know, and then there's another episode, I think the final episode is like an hour and a half, you know. So, but once again, that's a great paced show. So like one episode will have like no games in it.
Okay.
And it's all about the characters, and it really, really, really good. And then the next episode will be the game, right? And it is probably the most stressful show I've ever watched in my life.
Okay.
Wow.
Like, how
How hard is it to keep up with it with all the voice dubbing and everything?
Don't watch dub.
Really? I watched it.
No.
Do you just like to
Subtitles.
just read the translation?
Yeah, because you cannot. So I watched it, and then one of my buddies at the firehouse watched it, and
I heard the dub is terrible, like absolutely atrocious.
I thought it was horrible.
Yeah.
You know, because you can't. So the thing about like any kind of like any of the Asian languages, you know, Japanese and Korean and stuff like that, they're very expressive, right?
Yeah.
And so you get somebody that speaks English like they're reading an audiobook, and it just doesn't come across right.
Yeah.
And you know, in the very first episode, he's talking about buying his daughter fried chicken, and he's arguing with his mother. So he's very expressive. His mother's very expressive. And then you watch it in dub, and I swear to God, this is what he says. He goes, "Yes, I'll buy her fried chicken." And the mom goes, "You should buy her fried chicken. I will buy her fried chicken." It's horrible. It is horrible. I looked at my buddy. I said, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Well, I hate reading subtitles." I'm like, "Well, grow up and watch it and read the subtitles because this is horrible." He's like, "Well, I'm getting the same point." No, you're not, because you're missing all of the emotion there. Because like
That's me.
Because it's his daughter's birthday, and he doesn't see his daughter very much, and his mom is trying to give him advice, and they're arguing, and there's no emotion in the dub at all. And then do not watch it dub. You know,
I think I gotta try it for the first episode just to experience how bad it is, and then switch over.
So here's what you should do: watch the first episode with subtitles, then go back and watch it dub.
Okay.
Because you might, if you're watching it with dub, you might go, "Oh, this is acceptable." Watch it with subtitles. Watch the express, because that's a very emotional show. I'd say the characters,
It really is.
I mean, top notch. And then you go back and watch the dub, and you're like, "Nope, this is like reading an audiobook. It's really bad." So yeah, sub all the way. But
Is the dub like where they're talking and then it'll sometimes not match with like the
a lot.
Oh, I've seen a clip. It does not match with their lips at all.
Oh, and it doesn't. It's not even the same thing. So if you're watching subtitles, they'll say one thing, and then you watch the dub, they say something totally different.
Yeah,
and you're like, "Huh." And I'm glad I like watching movies. I watch a lot of movies that have subtitles in it, and so I watched that initially, and then I watched that first episode with my buddy at the firehouse, and I was like, "No, dude, what are you doing? Like this, like what he said right there doesn't even make any sense." So, and it's very like, you know, the problem with like Hunger Games, it's got that like Hunger Game vibe to it.
Yeah.
The difference is with not giving too many spoilers here, because you find it out first episode, is that you're not forced into these games. They're not like, "Oh, this is, you know, this is not like where you're forced and you get strong armed into this. You have to do this." It's
it's competing for money, right?
You're volunteering, yes.
Yes.
So, you know, it's a totally different thing. But once you volunteer for it,
You're in there.
you're in there.
Yeah, there's no turning back.
Right. So, and there's some more details. I'll let you figure those out.
Yeah.
But it's very, and so you're like, you really put into perspective, like, well, how much would you put your life on the line for? Because it's not a small sum they put in that movie, you know, and and each person's worth so much. So every time somebody dies, the end reward gets bigger.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And they have like each debt that they.
And then you got the
build
people
up.
trying to make connections with each other and stuff.
Yeah.
and
So
all
like,
that stuff.
So like
et cetera.
on the first episode, after the first game, a lot of people are like, "Screw that," and they're like, "Okay, well, you know, before we do a vote or whatever, the piggy bank comes down, and they fill the money with all the players that were eliminated, and then everybody's staring at that, and they're just going, "Oh, my life sucks," you know. So it's very interesting. I love the concept of this, and then the character building. And what's weird is the main character is one of the least likable people ever.
I agree.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I was watching the show and I go, I don't care if this guy dies. He's a horrible dad. You know, he's a horrible son. He's got a gambling addiction. He refuses to get a job. He stole money from his mom. Like, he's not a likable guy.
Yeah.
And then you go in there and they have these stories for all these other people and you're like, I like this person, I like this person. And then it kind of shows that maybe everybody's got their own issues and you shouldn't judge people because all these people that have really good stories are also really messed up.
Yeah.
And so it shows people like the actual humans in a really dire situation and maybe in over their head. So this is like a Hail Mary attempt at trying to get their life in order. It's a really deep show.
It really
Okay.
is.
I didn't think it went that deep.
Oh,
Yeah,
honestly.
it did.
Yeah, the
It
games
definitely
are really just kind of like the frame of the show,
Yeah.
but the actual characters what really make the show. I mean, it's fantastic. So, yeah, it's really good. So I don't want to say this isn't too much of a spoiler. The last episode, they finished the games up within the first 20 minutes of the last episode.
Yeah.
So you have an hour and 10 minutes of the last episode that have nothing to do with the games, and you're just like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
What's happening?
It's really
so good.
Yeah.
It's
All
so
right.
good.
There's a
I think I
season
gotta
2
get
though,
Netflix
right?
now,
Season
then.
1.
But there will be a season 2,
Yes,
right?
they leave it on a cliffhanger. So.
Yeah.
So,
Now,
But-
my big question is this ran through the government, or is this more of like an underground type thing?
you have to watch it.
Yeah, you gotta watch.
Y'all
Yeah.
really got me invested. So
Oh,
I
much.
man.
was about to say,
Yeah,
man.
It's
really-
so good. And you know
it's
what's
a great
funny?
show.
It does
I
sound
had
pretty
no
solid.
interest in watching this.
Me
right?
too.
Well, my girlfriend said something about it. Somebody at work said this was really good, and I was like, "Oh yeah!" And I flipped to it, and I saw the people in pink suits with the PlayStation buttons on their face. And I went,
PlayStation
this looks stupid. I'm not watching it, right? And I moved on. And then somebody at work was like, "Hey, I don't watch TV that much, and I binged the entire show in 2 days." And I was like, "Oh, all right, maybe there's something to it." And he was like, "I'm telling you, watch just the first episode." And I was like, "Okay," I watched the first episode, hooked. I mean, just hooked.
Literally, like it's that type of show.
Yeah,
like,
got a little bit of a slow start.
I will give it a chance.
Yep.
I think I want to try it out.
Yep.
I'll have to get my Netflix finally.
oh yeah, you definitely have to. It with that first episode, it of course it's slow, but it's one of those things to where it has a certain moment that will get you hooked onto
Yep.
the show, and you'll
Yeah.
be like, wow,
Yep.
I'm missing out. I gotta keep watching.
Yep.
So
And then you'll sit there and see, and believe it or not, episode 2 is probably the slowest
Oh,
of
yeah.
all the episodes.
yeah,
But it's the one that you're done for. If you watch number 2, you're gonna watch the entire show.
Okay.
Episode 2. So you got to make it at least the first 2. If you're not hooked by episode 2, you won't enjoy the show. And I have
Okay.
not met a single person that made it through.
I've
episode
heard almost everybody I've talked to say that they enjoy Squid Game that have watched it.
Mhm.
I haven't heard one person that's like, oh, yeah, I watched it and I hated it. Most people say they've liked it.
2. Mhm.
So I don't know. I feel like I'm just a person that doesn't like trends. That's why I haven't touched it yet. That's why I
I
haven't
agree
touched
with
a lot
you.
of these things. You know
like
what I mean?
like with
I don't
Bird
know.
Box.
Huh?
Bird Box, you remember Bird Box?
Horrible.
That was,
Bird Box,
that,
yeah, I
that
never
was
watched
terrible
it.
movie.
I never watched
Worst
it.
trend.
Yeah,
One of the
That
worst
was the one with the blindfold.
Yeah,
on,
that
right?
was terrible.
You
Yeah.
saved
That
yourself
sounded
some time.
terrible.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to waste my time.
No.
And then I heard so many people say the dude, it was terrible.
Have you
It was-
seen?
it
Have you
was
ever seen The
terrible.
Happening?
No.
Oh,
I-
And wasn't it
Lucky-
with Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah, no, that was another horrible movie. But Bird Box and Happening are the same movie, basically. They're horrible. So Bird Box is what you see, and The Happening is like what you breathe. So, yeah, it's like
Wasn't it with the grass or
yeah,
nature?
spoiler. It's an old movie. The trees are killing you. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
trees got tired of us on Earth, and so they release a pollen. If you breathe it in, you commit suicide.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
It's
Yeah.
a horrible movie, though.
Right,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
terrible.
The acting was horrible, it was slow, and then at the end, they're just
How
like,
would you really make a movie out of that, though?
Right, it's bad.
Yeah,
I-
I'm
I-
kidding.
Yeah, like I said, I'm an optimistic person. I'll see a movie that's average. I'll leave the theater like that was good. I left the theater like that was a waste of time.
Yeah.
It was horrible. And then Bird Box.
Because how else would you breathe?
Yeah, well, that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
They were like trapping themselves. You had to do. It was so lame. Like the movie would start and they would know it
This
was
sounds painful.
happening when like the wind would kick up, right? And so like the wind would kick up and they would like go lock themselves in their car or like in a house, make sure everything was shut until the wind passed. I'm not making this up at all. Like it's horrible.
There's vents in cars.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I'm telling you, it just watch. No, don't watch it. Just watch like a highlight video for like 5 minutes on YouTube, and you'll be like, Yeah, I saved myself a bunch of time.
What's this called again?
The Happening.
The Happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then so I started watching Bird Box because, like you said, it was trending, and I was watching about halfway through, and I said, "This is just The Happening, but with blindfolds. This is stupid." You know,
And
you
they
know,
can't even
then
see.
the characters are never believable in those kind of movies, right? You know, like I'm gonna go out and rush this spot for a piece of cheesecake. You know, like just stupid. They make stupid decisions on those movies. Yeah.
But actually, Mark Wahlberg.
It's a 5 out of 10 on IMDb.
Oh, The
for
Happening.
The Happening, yeah. 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
From the way you made it sound like, it should be lower.
Yeah.
Oh, it should be 2 out of 10.
Yeah. All
Or-
0 out of 10.
Oh, that bad.
I hated that
Or
movie.
-1.
Yeah, it was like you can watch like bad movies and then kind of give them a good score because you're like, that was kind of funny. Like we'll do something like the guys I work with, we do this thing called terrible movie Wednesday. And so like when Wednesdays come on, we go like find these corny, just horrible.
Birdemic.
Yeah. We haven't seen that one, but we saw
You gotta watch that one.
Thanksgiving.
Sharknado.
No, so it was dumber ones than that. Like what was that?
That's hard to beat.
Yeah, it was like Christmas Jaws.
Christmas Jaws.
Yeah.
Oh, I
What?
know that
They
one.
made a
I know
Christmas-
that.
Christmas Jaws.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
They made a Christmas Jaws.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so it was. But
What?
no, it's like
It's not like Jaws.
no,
Jaws. It's
real
something
bad. Like one scene in the movie, they're like, we figure out how to beat him, so they like blow all the teeth out of the shark's mouth, and so then the shark summons in Christmas bulbs, and then it chews on them to make the Christmas bulbs its teeth.
What?
But it's one of those like it's so stupid, it's hilarious. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's funny. The Happening's not.
Yeah.
No,
that's a bad
it is
movie.
not
That's not
entertaining.
bad.
It is just a bad
Yeah.
movie.
So it's just a bad movie. So that I felt the same way about Bird Box.
Oh yeah.
And so I kind of was worried about that because I don't like Hunger Games.
I thought it was all right. I like the Hunger
It was
Games.
okay.
not
The last
realistic.
2 movies were terrible.
not
I like
real-
the first Hunger Games. When they started doing all the extra stuff, I'm like, eh. But
Yeah,
the first Hunger Games, I really like.
Yeah, it's the
The movie and the book.
It's I don't know. It's not very realistic. These dystopian universes where like it just doesn't seem realistic, right? You know,
Yeah.
like a true without getting like political, the true dystopia would be like the Holocaust, right? It wouldn't be like, oh, we're gonna
Yeah.
go make people play games and spend billions of dollars on these games, and then we're gonna celebrate the survival. It just doesn't work that
Yeah,
way, right?
exactly.
So I don't believe it. Where Squid Games is 100% believable
Okay.
from
Without
beginning
a
to
doubt.
end. You're like, holy cow, this. Then you get all like conspiracy, like Google on your phone. Like, I wonder how many of these actually exist that nobody knows about. You know, and you're so it's.
I was thinking about that when I
Yeah.
was watching. I was like, I feel like this could happen in the
Oh.
next 10 years.
Oh yeah,
Without a
yeah.
doubt.
Because I mean, if somebody offered you $45 million to play a game, would you then, if you were the winner, go and tell everybody? No.
Mm.
Like you wouldn't be like, yeah, I just watched a bunch of people die. You'd be like, all right, I'm gonna keep this quiet and
Yep.
live off this money the rest of their life. So it's very believable. That show is very believable. There is not even like the games themselves are not unbelievable at all. Like every part of that is completely down to earth and realistic.
You know, the first thing I ever saw from Squid Games is I was like, someone sent me a video on TikTok and it was like, what the heck is this? And it was someone on Roblox playing the Squid Game thing where
Red and green light.
And I'm like, dude, I have no idea why Roblox made this. And then I found out about Squid Game and all that. And then I was like, what the heck? And
Yeah.
I haven't like seen the clips from that part because I don't want to spoil it for me just
Yeah.
in case I watch it.
Mhm.
But now I think I'm going to because you guys made it.
You're
You
gonna have
should.
to.
You guys
Yeah.
kind of sold it.
Yeah,
You guys
if
kind of
there's
sold it to
any
me.
Yeah.
show, it's probably the best show I've seen in years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll give it a 4 out of 5 stars because it did have some slow parts to it, but it was still
Okay.
good.
I think the slow parts are the best character building parts though. I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 5.
5 out of
Yeah.
5.
What he
down.
described, I
Yeah,
thought it was going to be a
5 out of
5.
I'm gonna say hands down 5 out of 5 if you watch it with subtitles.
Oh,
It's like a
subtitles.
4
You have to watch it a certain way.
Yeah.
yeah, just because the dubs are so bad. You know?
I've seen a clip from it, and it's like the voice will stop, and their mouth will keep moving like that. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's
Yeah.
just I'm like, that is so awkward. I'm like, I feel like that would just kill the entire vibe.
So you know what's funny is you know what actually changed my mind on, because I would listen to, if the movie had to have subtitles, they didn't have a dub, I would watch the subtitles. But if they had a dub, I used to watch dub. And then there was a movie that came out on Netflix called The Platform,
Okay.
and I watched that movie, and it was a great movie till the end. And then the end, my buddy and I were watching it, and we're like, this was the stupidest movie ever. Why we don't get that end? And we come to find out, so I Googled it, like I'm so angry about this because it had such good reviews and it was a good movie to a point. And the first thing that pops up is do not watch it with dubs because the dubs are so wrong on everything that's said that you don't actually understand the story.
Oh.
And I was like, okay. So I told my buddy that, and he was like, all right. He's like, well, a couple weeks, which we did. A couple weeks later, he's like, let's get some beers and then go watch it with the subtitles.
Yeah.
And suddenly we're like watching this. We're like, it's a whole different movie. Because it's in Spanish, right?
Okay.
And so we're like, it's a whole different movie, and they're not even saying the same things with dubs. And I started realizing, like, man, how many movies did I watch with dubs that I didn't like or maybe did like, and I wasn't actually grasping what they were saying, because there's certain words that they just don't have translations for. Maybe they don't even mean the same thing. So yeah, so the ending made no sense. Then we watched it in subtitles. The ending made a lot of sense. So.
I gotta say, Squid Game was well done. The Netflix, they made like over about 900 million, close to $1 billion from this.
Oh, did they really?
Mhm.
I did not know that.
It was like it's the most trending show. Like it's a lot more trending than Bridgerton.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about that show, but
No.
like it was just it was. Oh, we're not online. Okay. But just the way they showcased it, it was the most viewed show.
So, one thing, did you read up on the guy that wrote the show?
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but
Oh, I don't either.
he wrote the show and he pitched it to so many other companies.
And like,
and
but they pitched it like almost 12 years ago. I think it was
Yeah.
2009.
Yeah.
He pitched it, and everybody in Korea was like, no.
yeah,
And excuse me.
yeah.
And then I think he just let it die, right?
Mhm.
Like he didn't do anything with it because he kept pitching it and nobody bought it. And then Netflix somehow came across the script and then came to him. It was like, hey, we want to make this movie. And so he wrote this like 12 years ago and tried to get it filmed, and nobody wanted to pick it up. So
Good job, Netflix.
yeah.
I do like how Netflix is a platform to where it gives people their creative chances, and like gives them a chance to show what they can do with their storytelling and to show them what kind of stories they can tell that aren't as normal as they should be, or not. It's abnormal to other people, but it's still good.
I agree.
Yeah, and I'm very excited for the Extraction 2.
Oh,
yeah, that's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like that.
Extraction 1 was great.
Yeah.
So that was like the military version of John Wick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love John. Oh, Scotty loves John Wick.
Yeah. No, I love the John Wick movies.
Yeah.
My favorite one's probably the second one. That's the one where the house blows up, right?
Yep.
Yep, that's my favorite one.
I agree.
I would watch those with my grandfather a lot. I think it was like last year or 2 years ago. Those are pretty dope movies.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The third one was okay.
I love the third one. That's my favorite.
The third one had better like set pieces.
They only had 3, right? I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
They're making 4.
They're making 4 now.
and
They
then
only have
the
3 at the
confirmed
moment.
5.
Oh, they confirmed.
Yeah,
5.
the 3.
Which is fine because I mean,
Yeah.
what's the story of John Wick? It used to be like don't kill his dog, and now it's just kind of insane, right?
Yeah.
Like, how many assassins are there in the world? But so you're just watching it for the action. So 3 had good set pieces. Like I was laughing in theater when they were throwing knives at each other,
Yeah.
and bouncing off of each other
Yeah.
and stuff, and so that was pretty good. But I do think two had better action sequences because there's no story to that movie, right? So you don't care if there's any. I don't care about the downtime. There could be 0 downtime, and so two had the best pacing. Where one kind of had like a set piece where you shot it out. So you had like the story at the beginning, shot at his house, then it was like some story in between, shot out at the nightclub, and so it kind of did that like section where like number 2 was like a little bit more story in the beginning and then nonstop till the end. I love that about John Wick too. So
Yeah, John Wick is that when I watched the first movie, like it just became like my favorite movie. Well, not all time, but it's on the list for
Mhm.
sure. And
Yes.
just he's tactical, of course, and of course he's an assassin, but they call him the Baba Yaga.
Mhm. Well, it just makes it better too that
yeah,
he actually trains in this stuff. He's
Yeah,
a
he
black
does it
belt in
himself.
judo and actually goes to the gun range and gets good with the firearms. So it's not like, oh, this is my stunt double. My face is on the camera, but they do everything that has to do with action. Like he's going through. That's impressive.
and he's
So,
like 53 or 4.
mhm,
Yeah, it's like no, wait, no, never mind. He's 55.
55.
Yeah, that dude's old, but he can still do it for sure.
Mhm.
I am excited for Matrix 4.
I am too.
Yeah, that I've been reading up on the storyline, what they're trying to do, all the
I'm not.
theories.
I'm not. I'm keeping totally. So I saw the trailer, looked really good, and now I'm just trying to keep myself in this just capsule. I don't want to know anything about it when I go in because so I was a young kid when it came out, and my mom watched it and then let me watch it, and so I'm like, okay, so I went into it blind. That's what made The Matrix so good. Is you're like, what's going on? You really had to watch that movie like 3 or 4 times to be
to
like
understand
to understand
it.
everything that's going on. So.
Mhm.
And that was really like when cyberpunk was not really a thing,
Mhm.
So it's interesting to see how this movie's going to develop. But I'm just keeping myself in this capsule. I don't want any spoilers.
I got you.
Nothing. I'm going to go in there for the fresh. I'm going to watch that day one.
Oh, me too, man.
Oh.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I remember when I watched I think when they started doing the HBO Max thing, I watched Mortal Kombat 3 a.m. And then that same night after Mortal Kombat, I watched the season finale of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I was like, might as well do it.
Okay.
Yeah, before the spoilers. I was like, let me just knock this out before I get spoiled.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love HBO Max. I really hope they continue to do it next year because I just don't like going to the movies nowadays. It just,
Well,
I mean,
it's just-
sometimes.
Well, I mean, man, it's just so expensive.
Yeah,
Like,
it's really expensive.
my girlfriend and I
Yeah.
go. If it's something my daughter wants to see, she goes with me. So you're paying $18 a ticket there.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
just like
plus
what's-
popcorn, plus drinks for everybody. Those drinks are like what, $4.50, $5 a drink. So
Yeah,
you go in there and you spend like $80, $90.
literally.
And then you're taking a chance. You might not even like the movie. So where at least HBO Max, like you sit at your house, like order a pizza, you're all comfortable.
You can pause at any time.
pause
just
at any
for
time. Yeah.
Intermission.
Like, in the movie theater, you're like, I gotta go to the restroom really bad, but I don't want to miss anything, and
Right.
or at least like HBO Max, you can pause it, and then you can be like, hey, I can watch something, and then tell my girlfriend like, hey, you need to come watch this, or same with my daughter and stuff like that. So
Literally. And you can watch it as many times. You don't have to
Right.
go back to the movies
Right.
for $18 for
Yeah.
a ticket.
yeah, I even do. I'm a big fan of that, even with Disney Plus. Oh man, instead of spending a bunch of money for taking my daughter to see Disney movies, $30, get early access to that movie, watch it at the house. Oh yeah.
And you can keep it forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you watched Jungle Cruise?
We have not seen that one.
I would
yet, no.
highly recommend it.
Okay, the
Jungle
last
Cruise.
one we saw that we paid for was Soul.
Oh, that was
super good.
Soul.
I love that.
Yeah,
That was really
yeah,
good.
that was super good.
Yeah.
So, but I think that was the last one we paid for. I believe so.
Wait, I thought it came out day one on Disney Plus.
Did we? I don't know. I've bought quite a few
Okay.
movies on there. No, I bought Mulan. That was not good. I didn't
Oh
like
yeah, that's terrible.
it. But I bought quite a few movies on there to watch with her. So I think it was Soul. I thought Soul was that a day one.
I think it was day one because I
we didn't pay
remember
for
it was like it'll be streaming on Christmas or the day
Yep.
of Christmas.
Mhm.
And then they had Wonder Woman, which was terrible, but
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Wonder
Uh,
Woman 84.
yeah, 1984.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what they were trying to do with
A
that.
weird vibe.
Yeah, it's really weird vibe.
Yeah, 'cause the first one was so good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, what are your thoughts on Far Cry 6?
What is the name of the actor?
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah,
I am-
Esposito.
I don't even know if I can pronounce that. But yes. Oh my goodness.
Bro, such
Have you played the game then?
I've not played it.
Okay.
Oh, I've been
Yeah.
so hyped.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's an amazing actor.
I love that actor without
Yep.
a doubt. Just
He's like perfect for the role too.
literally.
So Far Cry 6 story is really good.
Mhm,
The world is really good.
mhm,
I like how they changed up some things. Like you see your character in the cutscenes now.
mhm. In third person view.
Yeah, third person view. You know, I like some of the mechanics that they added. You know, the backpacks. I like how the clothing actually means something.
Yeah.
You know, versus Far Cry 5, you could like change your clothes for a character you never saw.
Yeah.
So, like, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of gameplay mechanics of that game that are really bad that I cannot wrap my head around why they went that way. Like, I've played a lot of games where like you can build a suppressor, for example, right? And it's got so many uses. So you can shoot 200 rounds out of it and then it breaks. In this game, like your suppressors overheat after like 4 shots. Like, doesn't make, they overheat.
Yeah.
And then you have to let them cool off. So it's like, it makes a gun that's got bullets also have like a charge timer too, because you'll shoot a bunch and then your shots go loud, and then when you stop shooting, you hear it, you know, wait for it. So it's really weird. They just overheat. I don't know. It's just, that was a weird thing. And then there's like, there's just a feeling about it. It's really different. Like, you have to unlock all your guns now, and like, if you run out of ammo, you're just screwed.
Yeah, you have to find ammo.
Yeah, instead of like, you can't pick up people's guns off the ground anymore. No. They also got rid of the companion system. Now you have your pets. But like, one thing that was really cool about Far Cry 5 is you can hop in the car and then your companion would get in the back on the gun, or you'd get on the gun, your companion would hop in the driver's seat, and you set a waypoint, your companion would drive there, you know, stuff like that. And then that's gone now. So now you get this like decked out car. So it's almost like you have to play multiplayer to like use the cars, because you got that car you can totally customize. I'm not doing it because it's a waste of the resources in the game, because I'm not playing a co-op, so nobody's going to be in the back of the car. I'll just take whatever car is there, you know. So there's a lot of like questionable gameplay, and then they added like raids now. It's kind of weird. And then they said that like when you're done with the game, now that they'll have kind of like, if you played the Division before, okay, so Division 2 is gonna have an end game like that, which I think is kind of weird for a game that I want weird to have an ending. Yeah, so when you're done with the game, they're gonna have these seasons where these people come in and take back over the territory.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a cool concept, but we'll just see how it goes. It feels much more. It doesn't feel like a Far Cry. You know what? When I play a Far Cry game, I want to play it till it ends. That was fun.
And you're finished with
it.
I see.
It's got more of like that MMO-ish kind of feel.
Like a live service.
Like
game.
a live service. That's a great example of putting that. Yeah. Where like Division and stuff, where Division's fine and all that. But one thing that turned me off from Division 2, you know, we were talking earlier, I work a lot of hours, work long hours, right? Yeah. So if they come out with an event item that's here for 12 hours and I'm at work for 36 hours, I'm screwed, right? And that's not fun for me, right? I paid the same amount of money as somebody else paid them. I feel like I should be able to get the same amount of content, right?
Right.
Or at least like a reasonable time, you know, to complete the content. And so I really don't like a lot of live service games like that, because they'll come out and they'll be like, oh, for 3 days this. And it's like, well, that's not good, because if I'm working this day and then I'm doing something with my girlfriend the next day, now I got 24 hours to do what they were giving people three days to do. Like, you know what I mean? So a lot of the games I do play will either have long gaps of time to do stuff, or there'll be a game that I can finish and put away. I'm not a big live service fan. Like, I don't like Destiny, you know, stuff like that. So I'm not a big fan of those type of games. And I kind of feel like that's the direction Far Cry 6 went. And that's also kind of what I've heard. I don't know. I've heard rumors that that's kind of where the Assassin's Creed is going to.
Yeah, the next game.
Right. So that I don't like those type of games. I don't want to have to commit a set amount of time that I have to do something in. And if I don't get it completed, I now miss out on a part of the game. Does it make sense? I want to be able to put the game down for 5 days and then be good. So
with Far Cry 6, I think it's so much better than Far Cry 5, because it just, with Far Cry 5, like, I was trying to play it and then it doesn't keep my interest.
Oh, it doesn't? You didn't like the villains? Oh, the villains were so good.
It was kind of cool. It would just, the gameplay really turned me off, because whenever I was shooting at somebody, the bullets weren't shooting at them, and it just, like, the camera was shaky, even though if I had a steady hand on it and stuff. I was like, what's going on? Like, it was so much easier to shoot stuff in Far Cry 4. I'm like, what's going on with Far Cry 5? Like, I'm not
Mhm.
sure if they're trying to be realistic with it, or I'm not sure.
Hmm.
But it just, I don't know. Like, I didn't really like the villain, the main villain. It
Oh, I loved him.
maybe because I haven't really truly like,
Joseph Seed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. But I do like how in Far Cry 6 you get to play as those previous Far Cry villains in the
Yes.
DLC,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Far Cry 6 feels good. I will
Yeah.
give it that. The
Yeah.
actual controls, the gunplay, all that stuff feels pretty good. So
Yeah. But we had so much content that we covered today. I have 5 stars for Far Cry 6. I would give Far Cry 6 a 5 out of 5.
would you?
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5, or 2.5 out of 5.
2.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel
Polar
that.
opposites, pretty much.
Yeah.
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 But hey, Far Cry 6 is a great game. You can play it on Xbox, PlayStation, or PC. It's a really good game to check out if you guys are huge Far Cry fans, or if you like action and adventure and a first-person shooter. This is your game. But yeah, the world is beautiful, and it's just a great game, and I would highly recommend it. But other than that, I appreciate Nicholas for coming on the show.
Appreciate you guys having me.
And thank you, Sage, for coming on the show too. And thank you, Scotty, for producing my show today.
As always, my friend.
And thank you for the listeners to listen to my show and everything. So I appreciate all the love and support. Thank you for listening to the Jones Review on today's episode. And I hope you guys stay tuned for next week of the Jones Review.